Greetings, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. For those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath, and if you are interested in booking with me, you can find me on evolvingwithmonette.com. Listen, guys, I wanted to jump into this today. This was sent my way by my angels, and I've got about 20 minutes before my first client today, so I want to get this in here for you guys, okay? This is a synopsis that, for whatever reason, my angels funneled it to me. This happened a few days ago, but as I was sitting down today, I thought I've got to deal with this. Hemingway's Garden of Eden. It's a movie, and for some reason, I love, what's her name? Mina Savari. I can never say her name. I always want to add other syllables and consonants in there. Mina Savari. I first caught her, she first caught my eye in American, was it American? It wasn't American Pie. It was a movie with Kevin Spacey where he was like this creepy dad. But it was about the underbelly of suburbia, and it was very weird, and he's weird, and it was all weird. He's a brilliant actor, but man, is he troubled, and it comes through in his acting. Anyway, she was in that movie, and her acting in that movie caught me, and so I've always paid attention to her since. Well, I saw this picture. Do not recognize the guy that she's with in the picture, but my angels wanted me to understand this, and it's about karmics and third-party dynamics, and about your real divine counterpart versus the person you had ascribed that moniker to, that you thought was your divine masculine, who was really just a karmic partner here to teach you lessons and drive you probably into the arms of the real person. And this was a message for me, as well as it was a message for some of you. So let's take a look. I'm going to read the synopsis, and then let's see what you think or what else comes. David Bourne is a promising American novelist now living in Paris, and he meets a volatile and seductive Catherine, who is played by Mina Savari, and immediately falls under her spell. After a whirlwind romance, they send off for their honeymoon. In Coita d'Azur, David is increasingly distracted from his writing by Catherine's sexual liberation and erotic role-playing. As David struggles to control his emotions, Catherine raises the erotic tension by bringing David a present in the form of a sultry Marita, which is an Italian heiress who provokes excitement and jealousy in both Catherine and David. As he becomes the pawn between two manipulative women, David retreats into his writing, recreating the story of his relationship with his father, a charismatic big game hunter. As jealous, though, as she is of Marita, Catherine, who was his original person, right, is even more obsessively envious of David's success as a writer. If the story does not involve her especially, Catherine becomes vindictive, and in her dangerous erotic game playing, only she serves to drive David into Marita's arms. That's the synopsis of the movie. I'm sure the book would be clearly more depth. This is what you need to know about this. There's so many things here that caught me. Paris caught me. Not understanding what was happening. My dynamics in my situation clearly are different. But what I realized was that someone who was threatened and was jealous of my own personal career and life started to play games. And instead of it making me be attracted to her and find her more valuable, or find our friendship more valuable, or find our connection of greater worth, it diminished it. It completely deteriorated it. I was not turned on at all. I was not enchanted. I was not enticed. I wanted no parts. I was disgusted. I probably have never been more turned off by a person in my entire life than this one person. And I mean that in all ways. I wasn't emotionally attracted. I wasn't sexually attracted. I wasn't intellectually attracted. I found her to be rather normal, like part of the unwashed masses. We used to joke. I remember being at in Lake Tahoe and seeing Shakespeare in Lake Tahoe on the side of a mountain. It was incredible, many years ago, and my friend and I, he was British. He was like, "Oh my God, here we are with the unwashed masses." But we had a brilliant time. The point is, I started to see her as one of the unwashed masses. Okay, his mother used to joke and say that all the time. Very British, the unwashed masses. Anyway, that's what I started to feel about her. I started to not be attracted to her. All of the games and all of the stuff and all the third party, I was just like, oh, okay, if that's what you want to do, go do that. But when I saw this, I knew my angels were saying, please understand that this is the game that happens all the time. Even though your dynamics may change and Paris may not be a pinger for you, because that was a pivotal changing point in our relationship. I have a video here about it. Me going to Paris triggered her and caused her to have a lot of behaviors that were terrible. However, what I realized is that the person, the divine counterpart, the energy, the friend, the bestie that I was really supposed to be dealing with, absolutely showed themselves to me, and she was threatened by it and knew it, and she was trying to stop it. You may have people in your life like that. If this is a romantic dynamic for you, there may be something similar too. This is also a cautionary tale about bringing a third party into your bedroom. Listen, guys, you know what I say here. I do not subscribe to the puritanical stuff. Truly, I do not. I have seen things work, and with my ability to look into people's lives, I know that people have various reasons for various things that they do, whether it be an affair, whether it be having a marriage that's set up a certain way. We all make our own rules. We think that the rules are dictated to us by society, but we make our own rules. So I don't ever stand in judgment when I see something that's off. I try to be integral, y'all. I try to be integral. I try not to participate in absolute effery. I try to put myself in the position of another person and how they would feel if I think that they're very deeply emotionally connected. I had a situation like that recently where I really had to assess something and be like, you know what, I wouldn't want to be in that position, so I'm not going to participate in this situation. But what I will tell you is that when you bring a third party into the bedroom, you guys, you can't predict how that's going to go. This must be a message for somebody watching, because it's not my situation. When you bring a third party into your bedroom, I'm talking about sleeping with 3 people at the same time, unless you are geared up for that, unless you are polyamorous and there are communications and everything is on the up and up. Even in those moments, if you talk to polyamorous couples, there's still jealousy, because that's our human nature. If toddlers are jealous of a new sibling, how much more so, though there's zero comparison, would we be jealous of another person in our relationship dynamic? You got to be very careful about that, and sometimes it will backfire on you, okay? Regarding what happened here, instead of him loving the person that was in his life more, also the first thing that came to me is that they described her as falling under her spell, right? She's volatile and seductive, and he falls on her spell. I have another video up here about be wary of the the unloyal, that's Freudian, the unlucky. Be wary of the unlucky, like they're a contagion. It's the law 10 of the 48 laws of power. People that are unfortunate will have this kind of charismatic charm immediately. You fall for it, then your whole life is screwed up. Now you have their karma. In this case, what happened is that he started to value the Italian heiress she bought in over her, because she played so many mind games and was so vicious and jealous about his career, about everything. Narcissistic. She was clearly a narcissist. And he fell in love with the person he was probably always going to fall in love with anyway. She was merely a catalyst. In my situation specifically, the terrible behavior of the person, consistent terrible behavior, did drive me into the energetic arms, not necessarily actual arms, but energetically. I found solace and refuge in a person that she probably was threatened by, that she probably didn't want me to have anything to do with. In fact, I know it because she said as much in her various ways, and actually pretty directly as well. And it made me realize, and I didn't pick the other person because she was so terrible. I went to the other person because they were so solid. They were so consistent. They were so loving. They were so emotionally available. They were so plugged in. They were a touchstone. And they weren't overbearing. And. I could go on and on, right? I'm sure that they have their flaws. But what I realized was, compared to what I was dealing with, it was a much better deal. And not only a better deal, it was an upgrade energetically to where my vibration was at. Does that make sense, guys? For some of you, you need to assess, where is your vibration at? Is the person you're with meeting your vibration? This other person was acting like she was in high school and never healed any of her wounds, and was like still trying to sit at the popular girls table. Meanwhile, the popular girls were all going to be losers, and were actually. It was like a fast forwarded way. Like they had already become losers, but in their mind, they still felt like they were the popular girls, like they were living loser lives. It was crazy. But what it made me realize is like, oh, the person that I thought was my person and my bestie and was really merely a catalyst, a car. She was like a Uber ride to the actual divine counterpart I was supposed to be with. And because she was such a terrible Uber ride, I couldn't wait to get out of the car. Where before I had fought for the relationship, it was like, no, it's me and you against the world. All that ish went out the window. And I was like, oh my God, give me a grown up, please. Give me an adult. Give me a grown ass person who has balanced masculine and feminine energy, who is comfortable being an initiating conversations and connection, but also comfortable being receptive. I mean, y'all, I'm feeling pretty good about it, because what I realized is that I was fighting a losing battle to get away from a crazy person who never ever valued me or didn't want that kind of connection with me. She wanted chaos. If you grow up watching The Burning Bed and you live it in your life, and that's your parents, and that's your family, and that's your mother, and that's your father, myself included, y'all, I'm not pointing fingers at you. Burning Bed is a movie with Farrah Fawcett, okay? A very abusive movie where essentially she burns something down. But what I will tell you is, if you grow up watching that, you'll recreate it, because that chaos is familiar to your initial childhood wounding and trauma. For the person who was creating chaos in my life, she did grow up watching that. She did grow up living that, so she recreated it in every relationship. She couldn't recreate it with me because I'm more grounded and balanced, and because I had done a lot of my healing. Maybe initially we had some elements of it, but not to the highest degree. But she wanted the highest degree. Fahrenheit 9/11. She wanted the bluest flame. That's another movie. By a different name. And if any of you guys know what it is, and you know. But she wanted the bluest flame, and she got it. But the bluest flame doesn't end up the way you think it's going to end up when you start watching it. And that was the lesson. Regarding me and her person, my person, divine counterparts, getting to the real true connection. I'm in the real true connection. I get it. And I get why I had to fight so hard to get out of the toxic connection. That third party dynamic, even though it was just excruciating for me in the beginning, was exactly what I needed. Because while she was so worried about whatever, instead of just acting right and having the relationship with me that she deeply desired and wish she could have now, she's played all these games, and it just made me fall completely out of any kind of friendship love with her, love with her, like with her, lust with her. I have no emotions for her that are positive, and I am actually moving towards apathy, which is lovely. I welcome it. But I just don't feel any of the things that I felt before, because she showed me a side of herself that was always there. But when she felt threatened, it came out. Pay attention to who triggers the people around you. If they feel threatened by them, what kind of toxic behavior are they willing to engage with? And then the bonus of it, really, guys, is that I ended up with the person I was supposed to be with, period, or at least have an experience with for a season in my life. I cannot speak for a life eternally, because God, if I've learned nothing in my life, it is that I cannot necessarily know that a person is supposed to be here with me forever, or that they even want to be. So I'm not going to put that kind of pressure on anybody, nor am I going to ever put that pressure on myself again. I'm very in a free, different kind of space after that experience. I'm like, there may not be forevers unless someone wants to commit to that. I am no longer going to beg, cajole, or hold anybody to a forever. If it's a season and it's a moment, God bless it. But the divine counterpart in my life for this season, this moment, and maybe more, if that's what God and they agree to, because again, free will's a real thing, they were exactly who I was supposed to be with. Period. I get it. It's so clear. It's so clear. And I hope for you guys, it's clear for you as well, that maybe your person that you're like, that's my divine counterpart, wasn't, and the person you end up with is. And it was like this kind of game where you were thinking you were fighting off the karmic that they were with. Really, that karmic came in as like a harbinger of light for me. She was demonic and wild as a Taliban, I'm never going to lie. But what she did was she distracted the person who was my crazy karmic that I had known for 20 years and made her fall completely and utterly under her spell. Amen. Don't you love a full 360 moment, so that I can move forward and away without her ever thinking anything of it. In fact, she wanted me to go away. She was delighted because she thought she got the prize. Amen? God is so good. Never trust those lying eyes. I, in fact, got the prize. I got the prize. I got the right relationship, connection, and emotional stability that I needed in my life, that the other person may have needed in their life, and our places match. That's something I've been thinking a lot about lately. Where do we match? And because we're both caretakers and used to that, I thought about that a lot. I thought, will this work, or are we just going to be learning new healthy ways, or how do two caretakers love each other? That's my question. Maybe another video for another day. But I realized that there is love. Oh, bing bong. I guess I'm supposed to do another video, or Amazon's here, one or the other. But either way, guys, I just wanted to communicate that with you before I jump off here. It is absolutely okay for you to understand that that third party that you might have been in, that you were like, oh my God, this is my person, it's so amazing, was not really your person. They were there to get you to the real connection. I think we have multiples, and so it's okay. Don't get too attached to the divine connection in front of you either, unless they're making it known that it's okay to be attached, okay? Everybody's situation is different. All right, I gotta pop off. I love you guys so much. I hope that was helpful. Come back and join me next time, and we will continue to evolve together.